Hello, Mount Rudmore here. Hopefully, eventually. Okay, yeah, the picture finally adjusted. But yes, I am back to talk about some more BB25, and it has been an interesting couple days for sure. Um, Now, since my last stream was right after the Wednesday episode, and also on Wednesday, um, Luke was expelled from the house for using a racial slur. Um, and the feeds were down until after the eviction episode. So that is what I want to talk about first, the eviction episode. It was very clumsy. I mean, the whole season so far, the episodes have been missing the mark. The live episodes have been very clumsy. The recorded episodes have been really cheesy with the competitions and with this twist going on. And to be honest, I genuinely thought that the eviction was going to be canceled with Luke leaving because this season is lasting for 100 days. I figured continuing to send someone home would have just been like, I don't know. I felt like it's going to disrupt the flow of the season that they have planned if they want to bring it to 100 days. But the eviction still went on as planned, and Kirsten was evicted 13-0. And I guess, good for her for not being the most evicted house guest ever, because if Luke was still there, that would have been 14 votes to evict her, unless he decided to get really sneaky. And then, of course, the end of the episode, they all just disappeared. And Julie's like, "Where'd they go?" And like, it was like Julie was trying to emulate the beginning of Avengers Endgame, where Hawkeye's entire family gets Thanos snapped out of existence around him, and he's just like, "Where'd everyone go?" Like that. Of course, like with this multiverse theme, Marvel is like the default thing. The only part of the episode. Okay, there were two parts of the episode I liked. First of all, Corey, in his eviction, like after he did his vote, he said, "Beach Zach," in regards to his brother, the first boot from a Survivor season. And just the combination of that and his brother's response on social media, like he's acting like I don't control his social media pages right now. I gotta say, I really enjoy their brotherly dynamic. It reminds me a lot of me and my brother. So I do enjoy that quite a bit. And one other thing that really caught my attention, but apparently hasn't even really come to any sort of fruition. Um, Kirsten, in her interview with Julie, she talked about how Jared slipped up about his nickname. Like, talking about what his coach called him, and then apparently Sari has called him that or something. I don't know. I didn't like write it down too much, and no one's even really talked about it since. So I don't know if it's too big a deal, but and I mean, even Carson said I didn't put two and two together at the time. But yeah, that was just more clumsiness from Jared. This is the last thing I want to talk about in regards to the episode because, of course, they they couldn't not acknowledge Luke and how he disappeared. And to my amazement, I thought that maybe they would just kind of like maybe show him going into the diary room and then Riley coming out with the message that he was no longer in the game. But no, they actually showed, obviously a censored version, but they showed the moment where he said the word. And yeah, the way he was acting about it was not cool. Um, of course, the other three involved in this were Jared, Heisem, and Corey. Now, like I liked how Corey made it clear right away, like that was not okay, and I liked what Jared initially said about how he didn't want to react in a certain way because of some kind of perception that he was worried about giving off. So that I respected. What I didn't really respect as much from Jared is how when Riley did come out and reveal to the house guests that Luke was expelled for saying a racial slur, uh, Corey talks about it, and Jared seemed upset. Like he was irked that he was bringing it up at all. And, you know, I don't know if there was a right way Corey could have addressed this, but I mean, there were certainly a few wrong ways. And one wrong way to address it is saying, I didn't hear it, like Heisem did. Heisem claims to have not heard it. I don't know. Just in the moment, it looked like he was responding to it. But, I don't know. But yeah, just in regards to Corey, Jared almost seemed like he was. I mean, he put on a friendly face for Luke, but with Corey, he was talking about how. I mean, privately he was talking about how he didn't like what Luke said, but also privately, I mean, in the diary room, he's annoyed that Corey's talking about it. I'm like, listen, it happened, and Corey witnessed it and is admitting to have heard it. And personally, I think it would have looked worse if Corey just didn't acknowledge it at all. That's just me. I mean, admittedly, I'm I am of the Caucasian persuasion, so I um I probably wouldn't see it in quite the same way. I mean, I see it in the way that that word is bad and you should never say it, but I guess maybe my way of addressing it. I mean, I feel like I probably would have done what Corey did. I would have. I mean, I feel like I would have said, I heard Luke say it, and I thought it was wrong, and he made me very uncomfortable, and I think I would have done what Corey did. I would have left the room. But yeah, I don't know. There were truly bad ways Corey could have handled the situation, and I don't think he found a bad way to handle it. But I mean, just I don't know if there's a good way to handle it, just because that kind of incident, someone saying that word is just so inherently bad. So I don't know. Anyway, moving past the episode, we of course had an HOH competition, and Heisem won the HOH. The second HOH, which, as we all know, no second HOH has ever gone on to win the show. So, Heisem, you're going to have to make history in that regard. Now, at first, I was thinking Corey is probably the target because Heisem has made no secret that he despises Corey with every fiber of his being. And also, something about this HOH competition, for whatever reason, Jared, who was second, ended up in the Nether region, which is where Corey briefly went after he lost the challenge in the premiere episode. So, Jared was not in the house for a while. For like a day, I think. Well, not a full day, but I think it was after nominations. No, it was a little before nominations that he finally came back. So, of course, there's some talks, like, what is Heisem going to do? Sari thinks that Heisem is going to do Jag and Blue initially to backdoor Cameron. Now, I was thinking, since he seems relatively okay with Cameron, I was thinking he might need to be persuaded to do that, but no, he talks about how he wants to do Riley and Cameron as his nominees. Riley is his number one target, but he gets a weird vibe from Cameron sometimes. And don't we all? We find out that Matt actually talked about flipping the vote to save Kirsten. And Riley says she would have been on board with it. She would have tried if it wasn't Felicia. And of course, that just has me thinking, you know, you could have talked Isom into using the veto. You could have put up someone. I mean, Luke's name was thrown around a lot. I'm trying. Hopefully, after this session, I don't have to mention him ever again. After this stream, I hope I never have to. Or I was just like, oh, if she wasn't against Felicia, I think it could have happened. And that is true. No one in their right mind was going to vote out Felicia. I don't know what would have happened if it was Kirsten against Luke on the block, but I mean, there's no way Felicia was going. She's playing too great a social game right now. Everyone loves her. So Heisem, what his plan is, he wants to turn the other side against each other, and he could use Cameron trying to play the middle to do this. And Sari suggests telling Jag and Blue that Riley told them that they were targeting Heisem. So, yeah, Sari is getting to work. She is willing to help him turn them against each other. Izzy. Oh, busy Izzy strikes again. Izzy, much like Heisem, is prone to very intense hatred of people. I mean, I don't think it's as intense as Heisem's hatred for Corey was in the first week, but just the fact that she gets this passionately hateful against so many people, I think just in terms of sheer numbers, I think Izzy has pulled ahead of Heisem in that department. And at this point, she is practically seething just being around Cameron. And also Red, because apparently she didn't like that they were sitting on the HOH bed when neither of them is HOH. And, I mean, I feel like when the HOH does have everybody in the house in their room, I feel like usually when the HOH brings everyone in, everyone's just sitting around, like either on the couches, and yes, sometimes there are a few sitting on the bed. So, yeah, I feel like Izzy might have been a little irrational about that. But she does talk to Red about this because Red kind of picked up that she was upset, and he apologizes about it after she explains it to him. He apologizes and says, you can talk to me if there's something I do that makes you uncomfortable. And I actually really liked Red in this moment. This was the first good conversation I felt that Red has had. Like, usually he's just kind of hairy furniture for the most part. But she does admit that it's mostly Cameron that's making her mad. I guess Red just kind of got caught in the blast radius of her seething rage. So the Handful Alliance, which is Riley, Jag, Blue, Matt, Cameron, they successfully identify the 7 people. They're like, these 7 people are working together, and those 7 people are the professors. 3, Felicia, Izzy, Bowie, Mimi, Heisem, and Red. 3, Felicia, Izzy, Bowie, Mimi, Heisem, Red. Yeah. Okay, I got them all. So they successfully identified the Professor's Alliance. And, of course, the Handful, this is the 5-person alliance of this alliance structure that Jag built for himself, which was a good idea in concept. But, of course, there's a mole in it. And then there's the next layer down, the 8-person group, family style. That includes Jared, Corey, and America. They're like, we're willing to cut Corey and America loose. That's fine. Cameron is confident that Heisem will nominate people fairly, and he's blissfully unaware that he's an option at this point. Sure enough, Heisem tells Felicia he is putting up Riley and Cameron, with Riley as his target. Matt thinks. Heisem says that Matt is going to be the replacement nominee. Felicia thinks their side will crumble without Riley. And, for the most part, I have thought Felicia has very good reads on this house. But I actually think she's wrong about this one. I think Riley leaving would probably strengthen that side. I feel like Riley is a bit of a liability for them. I think there are some smart players with a lot of potential that kind of got sucked into her orbit. Riley tells Jag that she expects to be the target. And here's the thing about her HOH. She didn't even have to initially nominate two people. She had to initially save two people. Even a mediocre Big Brother player could have parlayed this particular HOH into a good position. But she botched it so horribly. She played so badly. She cut herself off from the house. She stayed in the HOH room most of the time. She didn't really build too many connections outside of her alliance. And that alliance has fallen apart rapidly, and she still hasn't really tried to pivot. So yeah, Riley is just not that good at this, in my opinion. Um, Jared appears on the memory wall from the Nether region. He says that he doesn't know when he'll see them again. And Matt could not hear this message. I mean, of course, Matt is deaf. He has hearing aids, but they can only do so much. And on top of that, when Jared appeared on the screen, there was some kind of filter that was on, and that made it impossible to fully read his lips. And, at this point, the lack of accommodations that they have for Matt is getting borderline cruel. I mean, there was during the live episode, uh, he Julie had a couple of speaking prompts to him, like, "Hello, Matt." He heard that. "Please cast your vote to evict." He heard that. And then Julie said, "Thank you, Matt." And he just kind of sat there because he didn't hear her. And, feel like there were some easier ways around this. There could have been a light. There could have been a crew member that just gave him a thumbs up or something, like, "You're all good." But, yeah, they just... And then this now with Jared appearing on the memory wall, and the volume isn't high enough, and there's a filter. They're not accommodating Matt at all. And the fact of the matter is, when you have someone with a disability, you have to accommodate them. Or if you're not going to, then don't cast them. I am. Let me be clear. I am absolutely not against Matt's casting. I think it's awesome that there is a deaf contestant playing Big Brother. I think he's got an awesome story. I like his story of how, your disability doesn't have to define you. You can still do great things. But the fact of the matter is, there are limitations to what he can do, and that limitation is hearing. So, yeah, they really need to figure out a better system for mats. And I have heard some things about how he's able to at least get some kind of script for the competitions to find out what has to be done. So, I mean, there's that, I guess, which is nice. But I'm trying to think of, what if they do a live HOH competition where they have to answer questions? How's he going to hear? What are they going to do for that? Will they have a screen or something that has the questions on it? I hope so. Anyway, that's all I got about Matt for the moment. Moving on now. So how Heisem is as an HOH. And I'll be honest, I've kind of gone back and forth about whether I'm enjoying him as an HOH. On the one hand, he's very direct, which I kind of like. Sometimes there is a lot of BS going on in the house. Like, I can't remember week one of BB All Stars, Cody Cauliflower is HOH, and he's just giving all this BS runaround with Janelle and Kaser, dancing around saying that he's going to nominate them, and also dancing around saying that they're safe. He's just giving a lot of vague bullcrap that Janelle and Kaser see right through. So of course they competed in that twist to save themselves for the week. So on that level, I like how direct he is. But on the other hand, he's that direct because he has all the information on the other side. And I feel like they should probably be able to see through this to an extent. Like, how does he know this much? He clearly has some inside information. So I feel like they should be more on the lookout for a rat. And I feel like Heisem should be more aware of the fact that this could make them aware that there is a rat. But some of his conversations are pretty interesting. He tells Cameron outright he's going up as a pawn. But Riley's the target, but if you leak information, I have the numbers to get you out. Again, kind of like the directness of this one. Also, Cameron is pretty insufferable, so I don't really mind too much. Problem is, Heisem is very insufferable with a lot of people. He talks to Jag. Jag says, I was never going for you. And he's like, is it okay if I check that fact? Like, if I ask around? Yeah. He does tell Jag he doesn't want to put him up because, he doesn't want them pitted against each other due to their similar backgrounds. I've talked about this before, about how Heisem is Muslim, Jag is Sikh, and oh wow. Okay, so the back stand on my phone, I think it's just completely given up. Oh my god. I need a new phone case. Sorry. This is okay. Sorry about that. But yes, he he tells Jag he doesn't want to put him up because of their similar backgrounds, which I've talked about before. How, both of them, both of their people received a lot of hatred and discrimination after 9/11. And he says he doesn't want to go for blue either. The feeds went down for a while. I thought it was for nominations, but no. Jared comes back. But now Jag is off to the Nether region, Netherlands, whatever they are. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to say the Netherlands now. So Jag is gone, but he cannot be nominated now. So Jag is safe for the week. This was another interesting conversation. Heisem talks to Riley. Tells her that he is thankful for the fact that he got to watch her HOH because it informed him of what he would do with his HOH. Translation: I saw you do everything wrong, so I'm going to get it right. And he does tell her outright that he's putting her up. But he tells her this in a way that's like, I hope that if you do stick around, we can still work together. And now Heisem is starting to move into the Cameron role of manipulating her, like breaking her down and trying to control her in some kind of way. I mean, sorry, I got a bug on my screen. Um, yeah, what is it about Riley that just makes all these guys want to break her down and build her back up the way they want her to be? I don't like Riley that much, but this is getting a little creepy. Hmm. I mean, I guess Heisem, it's not as horrifying as it was with Cameron, but it's still rubbing me the wrong way. Riley talks to Matt, says that she knows she's screwed, at least if she doesn't win the veto, and she wishes she made a big move. Why didn't I make a big move? And you know what? We were all kind of asking you that. She didn't even have to make a big move. Getting out Luke would have still been a good move. Or at least putting him up. I mean, maybe putting him up might have prevented that word from leaving his lips this week. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So yeah, Riley's just feeling bad for herself again. Like, I don't enjoy all the manipulation Riley is getting from various men in the house, but I also don't enjoy Riley just constantly having a pity party for herself. So then we get to the nominees, the nomination ceremony. The nominees end up being Riley and Cameron, as expected. Riley is his target, but I was thinking there are some people that Heisem is working with, Izzy in particular, that could decide to flip the votes. You know, Izzy could get to Sari and Felicia and Jared, and I'm thinking if Cameron stays on the block, there is not a 0% chance that Riley stays. And I I want Riley next week. Let's get Cameron right now. This guy is a problem. He is too creepy. He makes me uncomfortable. He makes a lot of people uncomfortable inside the house and out. And I'm just thinking, like, with Cameron on the block, I think there is potential for the vote to flip. If Cameron were to come off and someone goes up against Riley, at this point I was starting to think, yeah, Riley would be pretty screwed in that situation. Um, Riley and Blue talk. Blue tells Riley she would use the veto on her. Um, they suspect that someone ratted them out, which is true. And Riley is talking with Sari, and Sari says it was Cameron, which is partially true because Cameron, I said this before, Cameron was a mole on his own. But of course, Jared was the initial rat. But yeah, now that's starting to also put some people on this side of the house, making them look at Cameron a little more. So, you know, it could just be some people from Cerise's side, some people from Jag's side that could decide they want Cameron out if he is an option. And there's 12 votes. I think in a tie, assuming it stays the same. I mean, really, if Cameron's on the block, it ends in a tie. Heisem would later make it clear that he has no intention of taking Cameron out this week. So if it's a tie and Cameron's there, he's not leaving. It's Riley or whoever the replacement is. Um, but yeah, it needs 7 votes, and I think they could rally 7 votes to get Cameron out if he is an option. Cameron talks to Jared, and he says Heisem has saved him by nominating him next to Riley. because now I'm not forced to choose. Like, oh, Riley's leaving, but it's out of my hands now. There's nothing I can do. I can't save her. And just with how comfortable he is on the block, it's giving Pooch. You know, granted, Cameron didn't nominate himself or volunteer himself to be nominated like Pooch did, but just being that comfortable on the block is, I mean, more often than not, it's the kiss of death in Big Brother. And I think it deserves to be, you know? If I was on Big Brother and there were two people on the block, one of them was super comfortable. He or she or they were just like, I'm not going anywhere. I don't even need to try. Then I will at least consider being like, maybe I should take you out. I think you might be a little too comfortable right now. I'm not saying I would for sure, but it's something I would consider. I definitely have to feel this person out, really feel like just how cocky they are. But yeah, in this instance, like if I was in this house with Cameron and I was seeing how comfortable he was, I would 100% vote him out. Even if I'm the only one, I'm like, I don't care. He's too comfortable. I'm voting to evict him. I'll vote out Riley next week, but this week I'm voting for Cameron. Another stupid thing Cameron did was start asking about what he thought was the mole, but Izzy later corrects him into the Traitors, which is a show that Sari was not only on, but won. And I'm just thinking, Sari doesn't love people talking about how good she was on Survivor, which she didn't win. Should you really be talking about how you know her from a show that she has won? I'm just thinking, how many stupid things can Cameron do? It's honestly getting kind of incredible. So Sari's annoyed about that. She's talking to Jared later, says she's annoyed about that, and also mad at Izzy for connecting that for him. But I do like that this conversation happened because this is just another reason why Sari could go for Cameron if he is an option. So yeah. Feeds get cut again. And in this time, Jag comes back. And honestly, this multiverse theme is really getting annoying with how much it's cutting feeds. I mean, it's. Look, I know there are going to be twists on Big Brother. I've accepted it. I know they're probably going to make very little sense. They're probably going to be a pain. But, I've just sort of accepted them. But I'm having a hard time accepting just how much of a nuisance this multiverse twist is. And apparently, there's this Nether monster or something was that Jag had to deal with or something. I don't know. I'm still not 100% sure what any of this means. But if there is a Nether monster or whatever it is, it's something that when it appears on TV, it's gonna look embarrassing. Okay? Like it would like the least embarrassing thing it could look like is one of the things they build for OTEV every year. Like that's the best case scenario. Jag just gets to meet OTEV earlier than everybody. But my guess is that it's gonna be some really bad CGI that when they air it on TV, it's just gonna be embarrassing, and we're just gonna be like, oh my god. Like I tell people I watch this show. I tell people just how into it I get. I tell them about my streams in the hopes that someone tunes in, but as usual, I only have one viewer. By the way, hi, thank you for being here. So like I'm encouraging them to check out the show, but they just get the episodes that air on CBS if they tune in at all. They probably aren't because I don't really have that much pull even with my family. But the challenges so far have been really goofy. This Nether monster is going to look like something from a 2002 made for TV sci-fi channel movie. I watched a lot of those kinds of movies back then. Like every weekend, the Sci-Fi Channel would play those kinds of movies, and I loved them. I ate them up, but I knew how cheesy they were. I didn't mind. I embraced the cheesiness, but like it got to a point where like I didn't expect much from the Sci-Fi Channel, from Big Brother. Like with how deep the strategy can be and how strategic and cunning things can be, I've come to expect a little more, and I I'm just worried this Nether monster is gonna look just pitiful, and I'm not looking forward to it. Jag talks to Jared, and he's like, "I just don't understand how the other side knows everything." And it seems to be like he's talking in a "I think there's a mole" way, and he has mentioned Jared's name before as a suspect. So I think what Jag was trying to do was see if he could maybe pressure Jared a little and maybe get him to slip up in some kind of way or have some kind of facial tick that gives it away. But Riley comes in and tells Jag that Cameron flipped. And, you know, Jared is in an amazing spot despite his very loose lips. Like, Jared is playing the best game I have ever seen from someone playing poorly. Like, he's just accidentally succeeding. Like, Jared is failing up in the Big Brother house. It'd probably be different if his mother wasn't around, but then it also might not be. I mean, granted, Jared would have no real reason to rat out this group. He probably would have been pretty tight with this group for real if his mother was not there and not included in it. That's another thing. I wish they brought in Sari. This group would be doing so much better. But yeah, Jared, he just things keep working out for him because this side of the house, I do think Jag is a pretty intelligent player. I think Blue has her moments. I think Matt also has his moments, but Cameron is a liability. Corey and America, they just don't really seem to care too much. Riley is a train wreck at this point. And of course, Jared has been ratting them out from the beginning. Jag and Blue talk. They make a final two with each other. And I'm like, yes, thank you, my two preseason picks. Separate yourselves from Riley. She's not good for either of you. They talk about how they want to link up with Sari. This might not work, but I'm thinking, hey, at least they're playing now. At least they're trying. I was talking about how Jag and Blue were just barely noticeable during all the craziness going on in the last few days of Riley's HOH. Like the last half of Riley's HOH, really. Jared tells Blue that he doesn't trust their alliance anymore. The family style. And they've been flirting a bit with each other, but now it was starting to look like it was really brewing because it was just getting more and more flirtatious, and Blue's getting a little more comfortable with him physically. So today was the veto. By the way, when I started this stream, there was still no veto winner yet, or we didn't know who the veto winner was yet. There might be one now. I don't know. I will check after I'm through with all my notes. But Matt, America, and Blue are picked for the veto. Riley is very happy with these picks. And Riley has actually been kind of chilling out a little bit. She's been getting a little more comfortable, really just kind of being more herself. Like the kind of person that like people were drawn to in the first place. So just the way she's been relaxing, I've been feeling like, her chances of it being used on her if she doesn't win have gone up a little, especially with these three picks being people that she is pretty close with. I mean, Blue and Matt, for sure. America, I feel like maybe America and Riley aren't as close as Riley thinks they are. But yes, Riley definitely was feeling a little more comfortable today. Here is where things started to take a little turn for one random person that, of course, is someone that I have been rooting for. Heisem is talking to Red. He says that if Riley wins the veto, he'll put Blue up, and she will leave over Cameron. Now, I don't know for sure if this is even true, but I'm still just like at first I was like, why not just Cameron? You're putting him up. But he really wants to work with Cameron despite nominating him. And anyone else you'd think would be like, you nominated me, so you're my new target. But no. Cameron honestly seems like the kind of person who is like, I see what you did there, Heisem. I'm glad you put me up. This is going to be great for our relationship. And I do genuinely think that Cameron is going to at least try to work with Heisem going forward. And I was talking about this before. Cameron is just too comfortable on the block. And I found out that Felicia also felt this way after I made that observation. Also, apparently, with Jag going to the Nether and coming back, he won some kind of power. I don't know exactly what it was, but he used this power on Bowie. Okay. Sure. Why not? Yeah, again, still don't know what it was. I'm not even going to speculate. Heisem tells Jared that if Riley wins the veto, Blue is his new target. And I was hoping that he's going to at least try to fight for her, showmance-wise, like, hey, maybe I kind of want to see this through. And I didn't see Sari letting Blue go over Cameron without a fight. But then Jared tells her that it'd be Blue if it's Blue versus Cameron. And they'd both prefer that. I would like to talk now about a Big Brother season that I hoped I would never talk about again. Celebrity Big Brother 3. Now, after BB23, that was the first year I did a draft. I won first pick for the next season because Xavier was my first pick. I mean, if any of my picks had won, of course, I'd get first pick in the draft. But Xavier was my first pick, and I always like to brag about that. So I won the right to pick first. I was planning on doing that for BB24, but then I decided to watch Celebrity Big Brother, which aired early in 2022. It aired before BB24. And with my first round draft pick for Celebrity Big Brother, I picked Olympian Mirai Nagasu. I just had a good feeling about her, But she got in there. She wasn't very good socially. She didn't win any competitions. And she was voted out at the second eviction ceremony. And yeah, Blue becoming the target. Because honestly, Mirai, there was some hope like, oh, maybe they'll save her. Maybe. Oh, no, never mind. And, I was feeling pretty good about Blue, but now here we are, and things are suddenly starting to go awry, and it's starting to remind me of Mirai. And I did not mean for that to rhyme, I'm sorry. But yeah, I don't know what it is. When I get to pick first in a draft, I lose. But when I picked Xavier in that draft, I picked third. My dad went first, then my brother, and then me. And then for BB24, I got second pick. Because my dad picked the winner for Celebrity Big Brother, Misha Tate. So he got first pick for BB24, and I went second. And I picked Taylor. And once again, I won with my first round draft pick. I think that's the secret for me. I need to not go first in a draft to pick the winner. But yeah, it just Blue and Mirai. I'm starting to see some parallels that I don't want to see. It really bums me out. I had a good feeling about Mirai before that season started. I had a good feeling about Blue before this season started. But neither of them. Well, Mirai never made any inroads. Uh, Blue still hasn't. So yeah. So that is all the notes I have. It's time to check. Time to check online. See if there's a veto winner yet. I really feel like there probably is one. Before I look, I just want to say that I really hope Blue wins it and uses it on Riley, solely because I want to see Heisem spiral. He seems like the kind of guy who doesn't adjust well when things don't go his way, which is something I said preseason when I was like looking at the interviews. So that's my dream. Blue wins the veto, uses it on Riley. Heisem starts to scramble. All right, it's time to look. Oh, got a few notifications. All right. BB updates. There's nothing on my main timeline, so I check BB updates. Let's see. Still nothing. Dang it. Hmm. This is interesting. Just saw someone say that Blue is having the person running her Instagram post her outfits when she wears them in the house. And they're saying that is truly the mastermind of the season. Fair point. Fair point. I'll give you that. Oh my god. Oh my god. I forgot. I totally forgot. Okay, so we got another doozy from Cameron. Um, so Cameron is starting to suspect that someone in the house might have a secret relationship that they're not telling anybody. Does he think it's Sari or Jared? No. He thinks it's Felicia. And does he think that Felicia has a special relationship with somebody in the house? No. Cameron thinks that Felicia is the sister of Denzel Washington. I don't know where this came from. She doesn't look like Denzel Washington. Like, I have seen bald Denzel Washington. He doesn't look like her. I will admit, if he had said he thinks that Felicia is Andre Brower's sister, I might have given him that one. Because she does look like a female Andre Brower. But Denzel Washington, dude, like what? When you were in sequester, did you just have a Denzel marathon? Like, did they just give you like Training Day, Glory, Malcolm X, Unstoppable, Taking a Pelham 123 remake? Like, is that what you got? You just went on a Denzel binge pre-show? Oh my god, Cameron is so goofy. I wouldn't mind if he was goofy if he wasn't creepy. But yeah, he's goofy. If he were any more goofy, he'd be a cartoon dog that owns a dog. Uh, yep, seeing someone else on Twitter. I did see this earlier. I'm gonna retweet it now. Talking about how it says, you know whose name isn't in anybody's mouth? And it's a picture of Mimi, which is true. Mimi Mimi is playing the game I wanted to see Blue play. Low key, but not in anyone's mouths as an option. Mimi's playing a low key game the right way, and I'm sorry to say, Blue has so far played a low key game in the wrong way. Like, she's made herself a viable option if things don't go to plan. And this is after Heisem has gone on and on about how he doesn't believe in backdooring, which, of course, he's only saying to talk everyone else out of backdooring him, like to at least nominate him and give him a chance. Like, yeah, you would have a problem with backdooring because you are exactly the kind of person that would be backdoored. I mean, the man has already won 2 competitions in the first 2 weeks. He might win 3, depending on how this video goes. He's got a 1 in 6 chance, more or less. I mean, I guess it depends on the competition, but, Heisem is just a very well-rounded player. He's very muscular, he's very smart. There's, like, it'd have to be a luck-based competition that brings him down, and he just doesn't get the luck. So, yeah, just Heisem is being so vocally anti-backdoor to talk people out of backdooring him. Which, of course, just makes me want him to be backdoored even more. But he's acting like it's not honorable and whatnot. And I'm just like, it's a staple of Big Brother. It's a brilliant strategy. And, it's what you got to do. You got to be cutthroat. He's like, oh, but I'm honorable. Yeah, you say that a lot, but you're still trying to be super devious. And also, he's talking about how Blue will be his replacement target. That's a backdoor. I mean, it's one thing. Okay, it'd be one thing if he said Blue would be his replacement nominee, and then Cameron would be his target. Like, fine. Because he wouldn't be backdooring Cameron. He'd at least be staying true to what he said. But he's saying he wants to go for Blue if Riley wins the veto. And it's like, you're backdooring somebody. Like, you might not be planning to, but if that is the path that ends up becoming an option, then I think that's what's annoying me the most about the fact that Blue is a target right now. It's just the fact that Heisem is being such a hypocrite about it. And in Big Brother, you gotta play dirty. Sometimes you gotta backdoor people. Sometimes you gotta be a hypocrite. But don't be those things after you talk about how honorable you are. Because then you just look like a giant fool. All right. I'm going to check one more time. See if, I mean, probably not, but see if in the last couple minutes the veto results are in. No. All right. Well, I'm going to call it here. Thank you to my one viewer for watching. If you want to see my reaction to the veto results, then follow me on Twitter at NickGrimesYT. And I will also upload this stream to YouTube. You can watch all my streams there. You can even go as far back as BB25 for my streams. I didn't finish the season. I mean, I watched the whole season, but I didn't stream the entire season or do streams for the entire season. But yeah, they're all still there if you want to watch them. And just go to my Twitter page at NickRimesYT, and you can get links to all my stuff there. I mean, just my Twitch channel and my YouTube channel. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. I will see you next time. Peace out. And I hope Blue wins this veto and saves Riley, because I want chaos. More violence.